All right, science today. Let's do some more butterfly stuff. I'm going to post some videos, some more videos of butterflies that I find outside, and then I'm going to see if you can guess the name of them, if you can remember the name of the butterfly. You can always print out the butterfly book that I posted yesterday, and then you can use that to help identify butterflies and learn their names, okay? When the weather's nice, if you ask your parents, if you go somewhere in your neighborhood, maybe you could walk somewhere where there's a lot of flowers. Usually you can find a lot of butterflies there, okay? All right, I found this book and I thought it was so cool, this one picture in the book. It says the elephant hawk moth caterpillar is playing a trick because these big spots are not actually eyes. Doesn't it look like a snake? This is actually a caterpillar that's only like this big. But he has these dots right there on its head, and it makes them look like snake eyes. And then predators won't want to mess with the caterpillar, right? Because they'll think, oh gosh, that's a snake. I don't want to mess with a snake. But really, it's just a caterpillar. That's such a cool defense that the caterpillar has. So that's the elephant hawk moth caterpillar. Pretty cool. Okay, this book is called Caterpillars. Ooh, that's a fuzzy, spiky one. What is a little creature all covered with spines? A caterpillar! Some of them have spines, some of them don't. Spiny, bumpy, wiggly caterpillars creep through woods and fields and gardens. They inch up plants to eat the leaves. They even eat the vegetables sometimes. They weave their webby nets in trees. They look strange and scary. How would you feel if a caterpillar crawled on you? If you knew all about caterpillars, I bet you wouldn't be afraid. Caterpillars are full of great surprises. Butterflies of all kinds were once creepy, crawly caterpillars. Moths start out as caterpillars too. A monarch caterpillar, right there, hatches from a little tiny egg. It eats and grows and grows. Then it hooks onto a branch and it forms a hard case around its body. Now it's a chrysalis. Inside the chrysalis, it slowly changes. At last the chrysalis breaks open and a beautiful monarch butterfly crawls out. Butterflies fly around gardens on summer days. They drink nectar, a sweet liquid they find in flowers. And they help the plants. They spread tiny grains of pollen from flower to flower, and this lets the plants make seeds. So butterflies are a type of pollinator, an important pollinator. So there's the butterflies, that tube that goes out of its mouth into the flower to drink nectar. Do you remember what that tube is called? It starts with a P. A proboscis. That's a long word. Many moths fly at night. You may see them fluttering at your window. What if there were no caterpillars? There wouldn't be any butterflies or moths either. So a lot of times butterflies are awake during the day, and a lot of times moths are nocturnal and they're awake at night. But not all of them. Caterpillars are important in other ways too. They're food for birds and other animals. A robin mother brings caterpillars to her babies. This wasp has caught a caterpillar to eat. A caterpillar called the silkworm makes fine strands of silk. The silkworm spins the strands into a big cocoon. Inside its cocoon, it changes into a white moth. People use the silk from the cocoon. They soak the cocoons in water and pull the silk strands apart. Then they weave the strands into soft silk cloth. Caterpillars are fun to watch. The inchworm seems to measure plants as it crawls. It moves its body one end at a time. The front moves first, then the back catches up. This woolly bear caterpillar crawls across roads and paths on warm fall days. Some people say the more brown the woolly bear wears, the more mild the winter will be. Oh, look, here's a caterpillar that has that defense too to make it look like a snake. So cool. The spicebrush caterpillar wears a snake's face, but the face is just fake. Those are not really big snake eyes. They're just black spots. So cool, caterpillars can do that. The hickory horned devil caterpillar has big spines on its back. It looks really dangerous to frighten predators away, but it's not really dangerous. These caterpillars may scare off hungry birds with their fierce looks, but they can't actually hurt you. A few caterpillars do have bristles that sting. This green caterpillar is one of them. These caterpillars will not bother you. It's safe to watch them, but don't try to touch them. So some caterpillars do actually have little spiky bristles that can sting you a little bit. Probably feels like an ant bite maybe. So you don't want to touch a caterpillar unless you know which kind it is. And even then, you probably just want to leave it alone and just watch it. Okay, let's read one more book. And then I'll explain the activity for today's science. So this one's called Waiting for Wings. And there's a lot of butterflies in this book that we see in our backyards a lot. And they're in our butterfly identification book. Waiting for Wings. That looks like a thistle. Out in the fields are eggs hidden from view. So a lot of times butterfly moms lay their eggs on the bottom of leaves sometimes, and they're tiny and they look hard to find. Maybe those are little eggs, maybe. Those are little eggs. Clinging to leaves with butterfly glue. Soon, caterpillars hatch. They creep and chew. Each one knows what it must do. So a caterpillar's job is to eat and eat and eat and eat and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Find a place where winds don't blow. So once they're big enough, once they've eaten enough, and they've molten enough, then they put a tiny little bit of silk, like sticky silk, to a leaf or a twig, somewhere dry where it'll be safe, and they hang upside down, kind of in the shape of a J, and they shed one last time, and underneath there is the chrysalis. Then make a case in which to grow. There's a chrysalis, there's a chrysalis. This looks like a monarch chrysalis. This chrysalis is different. That means that'll be a different kind of butterfly. There's a chrysalis there. Caterpillar changes now begin. Body and wings take shape within. Look, this one's coming out. And then remember, right before a chrysalis hatches and the butterfly comes out, oh, there's one here too. Cool. The chrysalis kind of gets a little bit see-through. You can start to see the butterfly inside. When it's time, each case is torn. Wings unfold. New butterflies are born. This one looks like a monarch. Ooh, let's wait till this one's wings are open. We'll see what kind that is. They pump their wings and get ready to fly. There's a swallowtail. This looks like a painted lady. Then hungry butterflies head for the sky, looking for flowers with nectar to eat. That looks like a painted lady, or maybe a red admiral. I don't know. Maybe it'll tell us at the end. Swallowtails. That looks like a buckeye with those circles. We watch them circle, land on their feet. There's their proboscis coming out to drink the nectar and flowers, and it helps pollinate the flowers. They're very important. Those are swallowtails. I think tiger swallowtails. They unroll their tongues and begin to eat. Their tongues are called proboscis. They dip and sip. Then fly away back home to the fields. They have eggs to lay. Oh yay, it tells us what kind each is. So there's a buckeye with its wings open. There's a buckeye with its wings closed. Here is a painted lady with its wings open and a painted lady with its wings closed. This is what a tiger swallowtail looks like with its wings open and its wings closed. And then here's a monarch with its wings open and its wings closed. So cool. And then it shows you what their caterpillars look like. Oh, and then it tells you about flowers. There's a poppy, Cosmo, black-eyed Susan, lantana, the Indian blanket flower, the fire wheel. So cool. That was a great book. All right, so I also posted in Science a couple videos for you to look at. There's a Brain Pop video about metamorphosis. There's a couple videos about the caterpillars and butterflies in my backyard. And then there's also some videos that I posted of different butterflies, and you have to try to use your butterfly book and figure out which ones they are. Then you can print this, and this is Life Cycle of a Butterfly, and this is for you to cut out and put in order, and if you want, you can color it in too. So you cut on the dotted line, cut each life cycle stage out, and then you have to put them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's the first stage? Remember? The egg. That would go there. What's the second stage? The caterpillar hatches out and then eats and eats and eats. The third stage, the caterpillar makes a chrysalis. Right there. And then the fourth stage, the butterfly hatches out. Okay? And here's just a picture of it just to remind you what it looks like. The first stage is an egg on a leaf. And then the caterpillar hatches out of the egg and eats and eats and eats. And then it makes a chrysalis. And then inside it changes into a butterfly. This is what it looks like when the chrysalis hatches. And then an adult butterfly comes out. Okay, so there's the life cycle. All right, guys, that was it for Science.